I thought it would be good to have a look at some of the plants that are thriving in this hot, dry weather that we've had. Here in Wales, we will have had our hottest July on record by far, and probably the driest July on record as well. But that doesn't necessarily mean that all the plants are looking stressed, and that we don't have lots of plants that we can grow that will do well. So here's an example, the common pomegranate, which quite regularly produces quite big fruit on it. Sometimes they taste okay, not quite the same as those that we buy in the supermarket, but nonetheless, I think you'll agree these orangey flowers, a little bit almost like tissue paper as they open, are very, very attractive. And as we move along this long, very sunny wall, very dry wall, we've got plants like the Euphorbia, Schirraceus, subspecies Wolfenii, which has those lovely lime yellow, limey green bracts in the spring, which smell of coffee, or late winter even, but still look good. I think it's good structure, that one. And this Eucomis just here, which I think looks fantastic too. Behind me, against the Great Hall wall, we've got a lovely hot sunny border, one that we don't irrigate, plants that are very tough and reliable, plants like the Hibiscus Persicaria polymorpha, with its creamy white flowers there, which last for a very long time if you've got space for a big herbaceous plant like that. We've got the strawberry tree, more of that lovely Pittosporum Tom Thumb, rosemary, phormiums as well. Lots of plants that are going to thrive in these locations. A lovely pink hibiscus as well, making the most of this summer. So ideas for hot, dry conditions. Certainly, I think you can take nearly all of the plants within this flower bed for those. Now, in this very exotic border next to the tower, there's a number of plants which thrive in this hot, dry weather. Plants like the Melianthus major, the yucca, of course, very good drought-tolerant plants. Even the loquat, the Areobatria, which had a few fruit on it earlier in the year, are thriving in this heat. And the Tetrapanax here, the Chinese rice paper plant, also looking good. It's worth pointing out that we do water some of our flower beds, not very much, because we tend to use a good thick mulch so that we don't need to water. And we also try and choose plants that will tolerate this weather. Now, a number of our trees will thrive in the hot, dry weather, such as this sweet chestnut tree here. Other ones don't tend to like it as much. Trees like the tulip tree, the giant one just behind me there, they will survive because they'll drop about two-thirds of their leaves to store, to help store water. And the same as this much younger tulip tree, Liriodendron chinensis, just over here. You can see it's beginning to lose a few leaves, but that's how it protects itself against this very dry, hot sunshine. Equally, also the mulberry trees love this hot, dry weather. We've got 3 of those over there against the rampart, cropping very heavily this year and full of lots of tasty fruit. I thought it'd also be good to look at this border, the stumpery. Plants which have been thriving are like the Hosta Francis Williams, which is doing very well. Some of the ferns as well, even the tree ferns. We've given them a bit of a water in the crowns, but the rest of these plants, we've literally started watering today, and really just to freshen some of it up. Going forward though, we will take out anything that requires too much water, because we don't really want to put sprinklers on the flower beds, partly because of using water to save water, and also for our time as well. So we're just going to see how this border develops over the next 5 years or so, as to what we keep and what we replace with tougher plants. And we planted this exotic border really to show what you can plant, things that don't require much water at all. There's a few plants that do. Plants like the coleus here, which looks quite exotic, almost quite tropical. Going forward, we will change the coleus. We will probably put some Californian poppies in, some nice bright orange poppies. Plants like the New Zealand pepper plant, they're struggling a bit. It is a bit too hot and dry for these, but we did like the foliage. But the rest of these plants, given a good start, very tough, fairly drought tolerant. Certainly the cannas, the Japanese banana, once it gets going, totally drought tolerant. Also the Bechelinaria, which looks a bit like a yucca, also very, very tough. Within that, we've put some nice splashes of bright orange Tithonia, which is a lovely annual, just through the middle in there. So you just get a nice view through to that lovely bright colour. It's good, I think, to contrast the borders that we have looked at to these two here, which are far more flowery and really contrast in their styles. This one, in this border here, the Jocelyn border, we use old-fashioned English favourites in a more contemporary style. The majority of these plants are pretty drought-proof, providing they've had a good start and you give them a good thick mulch. Plants like the Geranium Roseanne, the Artemisia Valerie Finis, the Agapanthus, of course, that's Northern Star, one of the best Agapanthus you can grow. The grass, Stipa tenuissima, very drought tolerant. The one plant, though, that we'll have to change going forwards will be the aster running through the middle of the border, which is a shame, but that is quite a thirsty plant, so we'll need to rethink that going forward. But even plants like the now discontinued, I think, Darcy Bustle Rose, are absolutely thriving, and this has had no water at all this summer. A few more plants worth a look up here in the community garden are plants like the Rosa Young Lycidas, which is a fantastic rose. This has not had any irrigation this summer. The soil is good, but look how prolific it is. Such a good rose. Repeat flowering, highly scented, excellent. The Gaura here, I think possibly whirling butterflies, this Gaura, another perfect drought-proof plant, and a number of other roses here. Such as this rose here, which I believe is Just Joey, another great one. But all of them are doing well. We've also put in, and it's got quite tall actually here, more of that Agapanthus Northern Star as well. Other roses, I mean, lots of them are pretty good in this weather, providing you've given them a good start. Roses very different to this, such as Fioris Only. I can thoroughly recommend that. That's in the Wells border. And roses such as Charles Darwin, if you fancy a yellow rose, that seems to be doing pretty well down there as well.